We are now 2 years into Minecraft changing how it does updates, and the player base is still pretty divided on it. The new system, referred to as game drops, has Mojang releasing 4 smaller updates a year, about every 3 months. This model has its pros and cons, but what's the reasoning behind this massive change? A few years after being bought by Microsoft, Mojang shifted to a yearly update cycle. Previously, the game could see multiple major updates a year, ranging a wide variety of themes. But this new model was much more focused. World of Color, Update Aquatic, and Village and Pillage zeroed in on revamping one specific area of the game. This model was most successful with the Nether update in 2020, overhauling an entire dimension, adding new biomes, structures, and resources. This update was so well received that Mojang decided to tackle an even bigger challenge, the long-awaited Cave update. This would end up being the most tumultuous development process of Minecraft, and is responsible for the majority of changes that we see today. The first mistake was the reveal. Coming off the heels of the Nether update, Mojang was psyched to announce as many new features as possible. In Minecraft Live, they showed off Lush Caves, Dripstone Caves, Skulk Sensors, the Warden, Candles, Amethyst Geodes, the Spyglass, Copper, Lightning Rods, Bundles, Axolotls, Archaeology, New Mountains, and a complete overhaul of Cave Generation. When Mojang inevitably fell behind on development, the update was split into 2 parts, delaying the new world generation by 6 months. And even with that, numerous revealed features wouldn't be added for years. The other mistake was the enormous technical challenge. The nature of Minecraft's origins meant the code was a bit of an unorganized mess. General Manager Ryan Cooper referred to implementing the new generation as building a skyscraper with hand tools. The core infrastructure of Minecraft's code needed significant work, not just for terrain generation, but making the future of development more sustainable. The next 3 years, Mojang attempted to fix these mistakes to middling success. After another Minecraft Live, they revealed features that weren't present in the final update. They reworked the presentation to be much more restrained, only showing what was 100% guaranteed to be in the update, with many more features revealed in the snapshot cycle. After 2 years with this model, Mojang announces the future of Minecraft's development, switching to several updates a year that vary in size. Jeb also emphasized that this would allow the team to work on long-term technical improvements. The kind of drops we see today began with the Garden Awakens, adding the Pale Garden, Creakings, and Resin. Next was Spring to Life, focusing on overworld ambience, with farm animal variants and several new plant blocks. Chase the Skies added the Happy Ghast and overhauled lead mechanics, and the Copper Age added more copper blocks, tools, the Copper Golem, and shelves. Mounts of Mayhem brought spears, Nautili, and improved on rideable mobs. Tiny Takeover overhauled the appearance of nearly all baby mobs and lets you agelock them with the Golden Dandelion. Chaos Cubed added Sulfur Caves, the Sulfur Cube mob, and geysers. The next update isn't fully revealed yet, but it promises to add the Dappled Forest, a new autumn-themed biome. Sorting these into groups of 4 lets us compare them to a traditional update. Immediately, what I like here is the variety. Now, as with most of the less popular Minecraft updates, many of these drops are criticized for only adding features to one specific area of the game. If you don't care about building or storytelling, then Spring to Life and Tiny Takeover are probably going to disappoint you. If you aren't into combat or exploration, the same goes for Mounts of Mayhem. But where this model shines is when you take a step back and look at the year as a whole. It doesn't matter what kind of player you are, there is something here for you. This directly addresses a problem that many people had with the updates following Caves and Cliffs. They all focused in on 1 or 2 specific areas of gameplay, but that isn't as big of a deal when another update is just around the corner. Drops also allow for a more thorough development process. Instead of packaging a bunch of things together into one giant update, these features are handled one at a time. Not only do the developers get to really sink their teeth into each idea, but us, the players, get more time to provide feedback. This results in features with much more depth. I mean, if the sniffer was introduced in a drop, it's hard to imagine it would have been implemented the same way. There is a downside to this though, which brings us to the negatives. While I love this model because of the frequency, more casual players may have a hard time keeping up. Previously, you could check in on Minecraft once a year, see what was new, play for a bit, and tune out. But now, that's a bit more difficult. Before each update even releases, the next one has been announced or teased. If you aren't super engaged with Minecraft, then it's very easy to fall behind and get confused. When someone refers to the next update, they could be talking about the one about to be released, or something further down the line that's recently been revealed. Also, so much of Minecraft's community infrastructure has been built around this yearly cycle. We're 2 years in, and people that run servers and make mods are still having a hard time keeping up. Some of that stress should be alleviated by the unobfuscation of Minecraft's code, at least I think. I don't know much about that stuff, but that is still a massive hurdle to get over. Speaking from my own experience of being part of a server, essential plugins are updating much slower, and we've had to make significant changes to how we operate. The hype around these drops also just isn't the same as a yearly update. Instead of a big boom of excitement at the beginning of every summer, there's just kind of a gentle hum throughout the whole year. But that also has an upside, which I'm surprised I haven't heard anyone else mention. I love how reminiscent this is of Minecraft's early development. If you haven't heard of the Secret Friday updates, this was a brief period where Notch would drop new features each week with no announcement. Players would have to explore the game and discover themselves what was new. A shocking amount of key features came from these small updates, including minecarts, redstone, and sneaking. Like this early period, drops turn their focus from expanding on the game's core progression and instead add fun new features that deepen your experience overall. And while drops aren't quite as mysterious, things are constantly being added, and I love the feeling that any week there could be an awesome new snapshot that changes the game forever. Drops also allow for more creative freedom for the development team. Previously, cool ideas may have been left on the cutting room floor for being smaller, isolated features that didn't contribute to an overall theme. Now, these things are handled on a case-by-case basis. If a feature is good, then let's do it. So, to surmise, there are a lot of problems with drops. The days of exciting updates that send massive waves through the community are probably over. And for casual players and community developers, the frequency is much harder to keep up with. But overall, I think the positives outweigh all of that. For the longevity of the game, this is a much healthier development cycle. The scope of a feature can be as small or big as it needs to be. And as someone who has always been engaged with the snapshots, I love that the game is in a constant state of development. The last 2 years have just been so fun to follow. Now, as much as I like the drops, this all comes with a big caveat. Every few years, I still want a big update. There are many areas of the game that are in desperate need of a revamp, and some things just can't be fixed with small changes. They need a big overhaul, which we haven't seen drops provide yet. The plus side is now Mojang has the time to work on these things behind the scenes. An update like Caves and Cliffs doesn't need to fit in a yearly deadline. It can get all of the development time it needs and only be announced when it's ready for testing. I really hope I'm not coping here and that Mojang is still working on things like this. If they ever want to improve something like the end, it's hard to imagine how that would be handled with drops. But who knows? This model is still very new. Mojang never stated that a big update is off the table, just that they would vary in size. So something big could always be just around the corner. So that's my thoughts on drops. Of the ones we've gotten so far, the Copper Age and Mounts of Mayhem are definitely my favorites. What drops have you enjoyed, and how do you feel about the overall change? As toxic as the greater Minecraft community can be, I do think the game is in a better state than a few years ago. As always, giving the video a like and leaving a comment is a huge help to me. And check out my last 2 videos, going over the full history of Minecraft's music and my idea for a sniffer rework. See ya!